Hi everyone. I know a few people had questions on how I did my hair, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this quick tutorial. I know it's a little too late now, but when I did my hair, the time I wasn't home or anything like that, so I'm gonna just try to show you how I put the hair in and how I curled it. I started out with using the Cuban twist. It's a Fretress brand Marley braiding hair. Don't be alarmed when you get it because it comes in one big bundle, and this is what it looks like. So it has that natural unstraightened kinky texture, which is good. That's what you're gonna need. And with the brown color, I don't know why, it was a little thinner than the brown that I used. So what I did was I separated it in half. Let me go back. So what I did when I braided my hair is I braided it to the back, but I crisscrossed each of the braids that were going to the back. And you want to do what you want to do is you can do that from ear to ear. I'm not sure if you can see, but where it meets here is where it's crisscrossed. So it's to the back here, then it's crisscrossed, and then it goes back. And I did that all the way across from ear to ear. When you do that, when you put the hair in at that cross, it covers up your braids in the back. So you want to make sure that you do that because it'll help with covering up the hair, covering up your own hair and your braids in the back. So I took the hair, and what I did was, you don't have to, but I kind of like twisted it just a little bit there and folded it. Took my latch hook and I went under, you want to make sure that the hook is open and up, and you go in under your braid, and then you loop your hair onto the hook. Then you close the hook and then you pull the hair through, and you just take the hook off. Then there's that loop, and you just loop the hair through. Some people twist it and loop the hair through again. You don't have to. The ones I did in the back I did, but you don't necessarily have to. So you just pull it. So it makes a knot. And then what I did was I trimmed it a little bit. You want to trim it. You don't want to trim a lot, because of course once you roll it, you still want it to have some length to it. If you want it longer, of course you don't want to trim it that long. Since there's two pieces, I separated them. Took a perm rod. Let me tell you what happened. So I started off with these rollers, which I saw in another video, and rolled almost all of my hair on the side and in the back, to discover that once after I dipped my hair with these rollers, that the curl didn't take. My curls were very limp. So put these down after I bought like 3 extra packs. They didn't work, so I didn't use those anymore. I took all those rollers out and I used the smaller gray perm rods. So you want to start wrapping it from the top. And wrap it tight. And as you're wrapping it, you want to twist. You want to twist it. And just wrap and wrap and wrap. Like that. And of course you want to secure it. You want to do the other one. Of course you can wrap these two together. But I did mine. I just did all of mine separate. I liked it that way. It was more defined to me. It was more defined. It came out more defined. And just wrap. Oh. You don't want to make it too tight at the top, because it's going to be hard for you to dip it in your water. And the water is extremely, extremely, extremely hot. So of course you want to leave maybe about 1 inch or so from the top. Then I have my water. I always have a set of crafting, whatever it is, whether it's scissors, whether it's cups, whether it's utensils. I always have a separate from whatever I use in my kitchen. So if it's kitchen shears, I only use them in the kitchen. So this cup you see here, although it's a mug, yeah, I know you don't want to use glass, but I've used this quite a few times before and it hasn't shattered. So I would probably recommend that you don't use glass, but I'm going to use this one because I've been using it forever to dip my hair. And once I get done with this is my crafting glass. I use it like for storage or whatever. It never goes back in my kitchen, of course, once I've used it in my hair. I don't care how many times I clean it or whatever, I would never put it back in my kitchen to use. I always have a separate set. So anyway, that's just me. I'm gonna get ready to dip your hair. Of course, you want to have a towel or something handy. You might want to drape it over your shoulder. This water's been sitting for a few minutes, but normally I would it's boiling hot water. It's still hot, but of course I've had to sit in here for a few minutes now, maybe like 5 minutes. But it's boiling hot water, so you want to be extremely careful. If you can get somebody else to do this for you, especially at the top of your head, that's great. So we're going to go ahead and dip. And I dip my hair for about 20 seconds. And when you get ready to take it out, you want to take your towel and catch. You want to take your towel, of course, and catch your rollers so that hot water doesn't drip. And just blot it really good. And then you want to wait a few you can wait a few minutes just for it to cool down. If you're using boiling hot water, it's going to be extremely hot. Excuse me. Just let those sit for a minute. While that's doing that, I think I'm going to add a few more pieces back here. I like mine to be full. I like my hair, my own scalp, and my own scalp and braids to show. Of course, you want the style to look as natural as possible. And of course, you don't want to pull it too tight because it is on your own hair. I'll just trim it. And I think I'll add another one since I have it sitting here while that's cooling off. I actually love this style. It's funny because when I put the hair in, it was wild. It was just all over my head, and I know I was looking crazy. I was looking like the Lion King, and I actually wondered after I installed all the hair if it was gonna turn out right. And then lo and behold, it turned out quite fabulous, if I do say so myself. So let's see. I'm gonna put this in. Like I said, you want to make sure the hook is open. You're gonna loop the hair. We'll put it under the braid. Loop the hair. And then you want to close the hook. And then pull it through. And then loop the hair through. And pull it so it makes a knot. I usually trim it all at once, but since I'm only adding a few, I'm just gonna trim those few. Okay, so this is cooled off. The good thing is when you're using boiling hot water, whether it's washing dishes or doing your hair or whatever, when you use really, really hot water, whatever it is, it dries really fast. So my hair is still wet, but it's not like dripping wet. So we're gonna take these out. And you want to start unraveling from the bottom with these perm rods. The hair tends to stick to the perm rods because of these like little prickly things. Oh, not in the camera, sorry. these little prickly things on the rollers. So that's the first one. As you can see, I'm going to take out the second one. Again, starting from the bottom. My hair is still wet, but it's not soaking wet. It's not gonna take very long to dry. See how coily that comes out? The tighter you roll it, the more coily. I don't even know if that's a word. I'm just gonna make it up. It'll come out. And then as the days go by, it gets fluffier, fuller. In the back, I don't really add a lot of hair because I have a lot of hair at the top and it falls to the back. So, just going to show you that up close. See that coil? And again, that's from the smaller gray perm rods. Let me show you a comparison with the bigger ones. They're not that big, but for some odd reason they just didn't work well for me. I've seen other people use them in other videos, but they didn't work well for me. Actually, I really love the curl that came from this one. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you.